All right, let's go ahead and get this party started, or maybe it's already started and I'm just jumping in late. Hey, good evening, everyone. It is about 5:04. It is a Friday. You go, I didn't want to have to use my wipers for the drive home. That was kind of expected. I think I even said that in last night's video, making fun of the fact that some of you are going to say I have to drive through all this mess because we've got quite a few thunderstorms that are going on. Some of them are on the strong side. Some of them are actually severe. I'm looking at the one in Roane County that's now moving through areas around Roane County, and that's in effect until 5:30 this afternoon. So we have a couple more minutes left on this particular one, and we'll go town to town. I'm going to take off all the clutter because the lightning can be a little distracting. I'll grant you that, but it'll let you know that we do have storms and thunder that's going to scare the cat and the dog. Perhaps put them under the couch, under the bed, under the desk, or in the laundry room, hunkered down. We got a storm that's moving into South Knox County. Some towns that might be affected by this strong storm: Golden Meadows 510, Belmont West 511, Spanish Trails at 511. Some of these are communities. Cedar Bluff, recognize that, 512, that's at the bottom of this box here. So again, some of these towns are just subdivisions or neighborhoods or communities. So if it helps you get some orientation, that's a good thing. But we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for parts of Monroe County. We have it in effect for Roane County until 5:30. I'm going to go jump to the weather app to give us some updates in case the Weather Service has decided to do that for us. They do a great job in keeping us informed about what's going on in neighborhoods around you. But there's multiple counties here. And when I say multiple counties, let's pull out the telestrator, shall we? What color shall we use? Let's do Tennessee orange. I think that would be good. All right, so we're talking about right in here, right? This is the box that we're going to focus on. We're talking about northeastern Ray, southwestern Loudoun County. We're talking northeastern Meigs County, and we're also talking northeastern McMinn, northwestern Monroe, southern Roane. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 counties can be all encompassed by this one yellow polygon. This one yellow polygon, that's why I chose to use the Tennessee orange, so you could see. Take that off for a second. So that's what we're tracking. This is all in effect until 5:30, so you've got 24 minutes left. This one has the potential of producing 60-mile-an-hour gusts. You go, that's not good. No, it's not good, especially for the drive home. We talked about the possibility of damaging winds today. We'll take this little track off. But if you do a little check here, and we can easily do that with our little eyedropper, there might be some strong winds. There's 30, maybe 45. So there's some strong winds. And if there's a 60 embedded in there somewhere, don't be surprised. Weather Service has it until 5:30. In the last check, it was about 9 miles south of Rockwood. And it's moving east, he says, moving east at 20 miles an hour. So we're going to track that as well. But if we would do a little track here, let's do a time lapse. Let's do 30 minutes. Yeah, just in the last 30 minutes, those winds have picked up, right? We see up to 40, 45 now, moving toward Loudoun County. So keep in mind, the winds are part of it. The winds are part of the story, but so is the rain. The rain, the heavy rains, the winds, it's all a combination of a headache trying to get home from work on a Friday when you were hoping things would be nice and pretty, but that's not the case. So we have this particular warning. I mentioned there's a strong storm here that looks like it's headed in the direction of Boyd at 5:10, Farragut 5:12, maybe around Choteau Estates 5:15, and maybe around, say, Lakewood at 5:17. So we're keeping an eye on multiple storms. Some are strong. This one looks like, we'll do blue here for this one. Blue one. This one is not a severe storm, but it is strong enough to maybe catch the attention of my Barron radar. So we're getting a good sense of where things are and what's coming into town from the north and west. In fact, we could just do a little check here over the last hour. Let's do an hour lapse, right? This is what's happened in the last 30 minutes. And I don't want to leave out our friends in Claiborne County. You're next. You are next on the agenda because I want to go over and say hi to you and do a check and see where things are. I got some alerts, questions, comments. Glenda says, coming down in Sneedville. Winds are strong in Sneedville. Thank you, Glenda. Yeah, we'll get to you in a moment. I know that that's also a severe thunderstorm. And we also have Diana Ladyhawks who says alerts from your weather app are coming in. Very good to know that they're working. But this is just, again, one box. This is multiple counties. I mentioned there were 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 counties, including Ray, Loudoun, Meigs, McMinn, Monroe, and southern Roane. All in this box, closing in on Philadelphia, Sweetwater, and now Paint Rock. Heading further northeast, you can see we got really heavy rain, thunder around Boyd, Farragut, just south of Hardin Valley. Oak Ridge, you look okay to me. Oak Ridge over here, we'll give you a check plus. You're looking good because it looks like it's past you. And how do I know it's past you? Because if I do a 30-minute loop, it was really coming down a few minutes ago, but now it's left Oak Ridge and it's left the Clinton area. So Anderson County maybe getting a break from all the action just a moment ago. So that's where things are at the moment. Let's go up toward the other warning. This is including Sneedville. I mentioned Glenda's on here. Hi, Glenda. I haven't forgotten you. If you're in Sneedville, Treadway, or Kyles Ford, you don't need me to tell you that you got a strong storm coming through town. You can also see there's been a lot of lightning strikes here. It looks like about 577 coming in from the northwest. Sometimes the lightning doesn't always catch up with the radar echoes, and that's okay. It just gives us an idea that there are some dangerous storms. Anytime lightning, you want to get away from windows. But thankfully, this is not tornadic. This is another warning from the National Weather Service. I'm going to toggle over here on my app, the free Captain Accurate Weather app. I hope you have a copy of it on your phone or iPad or both. But this is a severe thunderstorm warning that lasts for northeastern Claiborne, western Hawkins, Hancock. We can assume basically all of Hancock County, essentially, southeastern Lee, and southwestern Scott counties, Virginia. So this box, I'll use the orange again. Love the Tennessee orange. So we got right here. So this box here is where the strongest storm is further north and east. And to give you context, it's going to be moving into the Rogersville area. This storm is moving east at 30 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and do a track for that. I think that would be an important distinction. But this also expires at 5:30. So if you're thinking about when's all this going to get out of here, well, let's hope either these boxes, they move, they shift to the east, and then we're done. Maybe a new community might be affected. But either way, just know that there is still a lot more energy here in these storms. And so if we project this out 30 miles an hour at precisely the speed that our friends at the Weather Service says it's moving, that would put it into these towns. Kyles Ford, at right now, essentially, it's on the doorstep of Kyles Ford. It should be around Cloud Creek, love the name, 514. Around Willis, 515. And it should be on the doorstep of Camelot, 517. Assuming there's an Excalibur in there somewhere, but Camelot 517, and looks like Alumwell, or maybe Alumwell there at 520. So a couple of towns you can see from these storms. I want to say good evening, good morning, good evening. I guess I lose track of time. I do so many in the morning, and then I do night, and then I forget if I'm in the AM or PM. But yeah, pinch me. It's 5:12 in the evening or late afternoon, depending on your frame of reference. Melissa Ross Burns says this is not good for tennis evaluations. I would think not. I would say not. It's certainly not good for outdoor activities. And now we have a new one, right? Just when you thought everything was going to be quiet, you said we had a strong storm in Knox County. Well, sure enough, the Weather Service says, no, it's not strong. It's severe. Well, that means it's elevated to a 60-mile-an-hour gust, potentially, right? So the new warning that does cover Knox County. Let's get into it. You know we'll do it. We'll take a look at this storm as well. So I'm coming back to the valley. I do see that it's in effect until 6 o'clock, which is really about 45, 46, 47 minutes from now. So this one is new. It does include northern Blount. It does include parts of Sevier County, specifically northwest Sevier County, northeastern Blount, central Knox, and south central Anderson County. There's a little smidge of Anderson County in there, and I think most of it's pretty much left. The redness has left the neighborhood of Anderson County, but there's certainly some heavy rains from Farragut back towards Cedar Bluff, Bearden, as well as into the city. So Lonsdale community getting pounded with some heavy rain. This is, again, one of those situations we're not expecting tornadoes. But when I tell you that this is going to scare the cat or the dog, it's going to scare the cat or the dog. My dog tends to hide anytime. It's like some people have arthritic pain and they know when storms are coming. My dog knows when the storms are coming. Sometimes my dog works as well, dew point, as the app itself, it would seem. Anyway, expect damage to roofs. This is their verbiage. This is their language. Weather Service says in Knox County you can expect damage to siding, to trees. This would include Alcoa. This would include Sevierville. This would include Farragut, Pigeon Forge, and Louisville. Karnes, we can include Karnes, but essentially it's probably now left the Karnes area here in the last few minutes. Tanya Jelf says, David, it has started to clear up in North Knoxville. That's good news, right? It's good news. I don't know if we've spent enough time in my short time of being on here of getting the bird's eye view. So let's get the bird's eye view, right? There's not a whole lot going on in Jamestown, Wartburg, or Crossville. And about an hour ago, we'll go an hour, you can see how this line just came in, right? This is your weekend. It comes down in buckets, and then it stops. And then it stops, and then it stops, and then it comes down in buckets. It's going to come in like the tide. It's going to go in and out. We might not see this again until 1 in the morning if you're in Wartburg, Crossville, or Jamestown. It's one of those situations where it's hard to time for everybody because everybody's seeing this from a different angle. Because it's coming in from the northwest, it affected areas like Jamestown, maybe Oneida first, and Jellicoe and La Follette. But this is just a review of where we've been in the last hour. So we've got one warning, one big old box that includes 7 counties. This is going to expire at 5:30. That's 15 minutes here. Sneedville, hang in there. I haven't forgotten you, Sneedville. Beautiful home of Hancock County, Sneedville, home of Morgan Wallen. Yeah, you're talking about some beautiful country up there, and they are dealing with a severe storm that could be producing 60-mile-an-hour gusts. And that's what we are wanting you to be prepared for. If it happens, then you've been notified. If it doesn't quite reach the 60, maybe it only reaches 45 or 50, well, at least you will have survived it, maybe a little less affected. But I do know that the velocity in some of these situations, and we can take off the warnings. I want to just show you the maybe the bright spots here. 39, I see it really bright. 41 up here toward Claiborne County. It's about 27. Go back over here. 28. There's some strong winds. And if we just do a review of the last few minutes, let's go back an hour, see if we get some. See, this is just like it suddenly comes on strong, right? You get these winds in the bright green areas that are anywhere from 30, 35, 40, 45 miles an hour, and they're rolling toward Maryville. So you've got to be on the lookout if you're in Maryville, Alcoa. You've got the severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and this is just part of the equation. It is part of the outcome of a Friday. Lightning is just too cluttered. I think I'm going to just keep that off, and we'll just go back to the now situation here and go back to the radar. Because some of you are like, just want to see the radar, just want to know where the rain is. If you've got a comment, let me know. I'll do my best to give you a shout out. I see Glenda. She says it's slowing down for now, and I'm getting in the house, was stuck in my car. She's laughing emoji. Oh, that's no fun. Yeah, but trying to get it home in time for dinner, or maybe you want to order in the Ultimate Doppler Radar, presented by Ultimate Classic Comfort Food. In my view, is Marco's Pizza. Check them out. They are a great sponsor to Captain Accurate Weather, and they are my sponsors for this radar. So the fact that we have a radar, in part, because of the support we have from Marco. So I want to tell them special thanks. If you order a pizza either tonight or any night, local Marco's Pizza, check them out anytime. But Marcos.com. By the way, Tanya is asking, she says, however, Big Ridge was having an outdoor bluegrass event tonight starting at 6. Well, you never know if you could get it in. I'm not saying you can't. You could see from the naked eye that this is not covering the entire map, right? Yes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County till 6. That same warning covers northeastern sections of Blount County till 6. And we got one for Sevier County, Knox County. So all of that may actually improve by the time it gets into the Gatlinburg area. And you say, well, how do I know it's going to Gatlinburg? I don't know for sure. But one surefire way to see where it's going is to check on the future radar. You mean you could do that? Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that. Let's change the banner. This is where the radar is now. Let's go through the time machine because you got evening plans. It's Friday, y'all. You got to figure out where am I going to be in 2 hours? Where's this rain going to go? In 2 hours? Looks like it's headed to Gatlinburg. You were clairvoyant. How did you know it was going to? It looks like it's going to Gatlinburg. So in the next 90 minutes to 2 hours, these storms are going to be over here. Right, where's here? I'm going to stop it. We'll slide it over here. So it's going to be well east of Loudon, well east of Maryville. By the time we hit 7 o'clock, 7:19 or so, it's going to be over toward Newport. It's going to be causing disruptions, I'm sure, in Gatlinburg. And maybe, if it keeps its integrity, if the characteristics stay the same, it could be a severe thunderstorm in the Gatlinburg area. Potentially. But again, I want to point this out. This is, again, doesn't always perfectly line up on timing, but placement, pretty good. I would say, again, this is like a short range. This is like if you were introduced to archery and the target was 2 feet in front of you. You're pretty confident that you can get the arrow into the bullseye. And so this is just 2 hours in the future. It's not like 2 weeks. It's not 2 months. Not even 2 days. This is 2 hours. And so where is it likely to be? Probably, if you take a real close look, it'll be over here. So this is where it's going to be. And so if you've got a bluegrass event, if you've got an outdoor activity, any kind, this is one of the great features you'll find on the Captain Accurate Weather app is the future radar. It goes out 2 hours. It'll show you the past 2 hours. It'll show you the current radar, but it will do that one button. All you have to do is push the button one time. It'll then project where it's going to be 2 hours in the future. And I think that's fantastic. I don't know if it's just me, but I think in this day and age, sometimes you just don't want to overthink it. Right? You don't want to overthink. You want to know when. That's great, but where's it going to be? Where's it going? Those types of questions are easily answered now with the interface of the Captain Accurate Weather app. Again, going back to a recap, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Hawkins, Hancock County, parts of Lee County, Scott County, Virginia, Entil, and even Claiborne County, but it looks like the worst is over there. It doesn't look that bad in Claiborne County now. That runs till 5:30, so you've got 10 minutes on this one. You've got 9 counties over here that will be expiring and about 9 minutes. It's at 5:30. Meigs County, Ray, Roane, Loudoun, McMinn, and of course Monroe County till 5:30. But the one for Sevier County, Sevier Knox, this runs till 6. So just wanted to bring you up to speed if you're just joining me. Very thankful that you're here. Tammy Bullock says, everyone stay safe. She's got her heart and her prayer hands. Thank you, Tammy. I think a lot of folks probably are welcoming some of this rain. Maybe not. Maybe the timing is lousy. It's a Friday. You got plans. Can't this happen on a Monday? Because this feels like Monday weather to me. I don't know. Hope we get some rain, says Jean Kirkland Thomas. She says, I am so over this hot weather. Jean, thank you for letting me know. I love it. In fact, what's nice is I have now the ability, as I come back on camera, I'm going to come back over here. I now have the ability to put names on the bottom of the screen, but oftentimes what that does is I can't see my town, and I don't want to upset anyone who can't see their town. But yes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning till 6 o'clock for Knox County. That's downtown Knoxville. That's South Knoxville, and the worst of it now looks like it's leaving. The one that's in McMinn County, Loudoun County, it's already left Spring City, so there are some areas that are seeing some improvement. I love to hear what you have to say because I can put your name up on the screen if that is what you want to see. Maybe just focus on the radar. I can do both, alternate one versus the other, but I want you to know that it's nice to be able to recognize if you're going to give us a weather report, wouldn't it be nice to be able to see your name and know it is not me just reading it, but somebody can see it themselves. So that's kind of nice. But I am live streaming right now simultaneously on YouTube as well as Facebook. So if you're on YouTube, we'd love to give you an acknowledgement as well. Our YouTube watchers may not be as large as my Facebook following, but hey, we're growing, and that's a good thing too. I love the fact that we have options depending on your favorite form or platform. Oh yes, Jean did say this. I love this. She said, hope we get some rain. I am so over this hot weather. I think so. Many of us are, no doubt about that, but thank you, Jean. A couple of warnings are going to be expiring here in about 7 minutes. We have looked at, I know what we haven't looked at. We haven't looked at accumulation of rain, but we have looked and established what the playing field is. We've done the future radar. We've looked at the velocity. We've looked at the storm track. We know that they're moving to the east about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And the one in Knox County, which we really haven't had a chance to do the tracking, which we'll do, they have this moving with penny-sized hail. They said penny-sized hail. I'd be hard-pressed to find hail in this, but we'll look. We certainly can look. It's not going to cause us any harm to look at the hail. Yeah, I mean, do you see much hail here? I mean, let's see. There's some, absolutely, in Lee County, Virginia. It might be what's possible there. Maybe even into Hancock County. Possible there and over here. So it's pretty slim pickings as far as the hail, but they thought the size of it might be the size of a penny. On our hail tracker, it doesn't look all that impressive, but we'll keep an eye on that. Jumping back to the accumulation phase, because, I mean, the accumulation over the last 6 hours There's been a lot of rain in yellow. I mean, this in 6 hours, over 2 inches in some parts, just northeast of Spring City and into Loudoun and Roane County. And then you look back toward southern sections of Whitley County. You've had over 2.2 inches, maybe some areas over 1.5 inches. So there's a lot of rain in some of these pockets, maybe 1 inch. And I know that others will say, I didn't get that much. Well, some of your neighbors did. And that's 1.7 there, estimated. Around Monticello or south of it, about 1/2 inch. So it gives you a sample, maybe not a total absolute amount, but at least about 1/2 inch has now come into West Knox County here in the last few minutes. Around Maynardville, about 1/2 inch, and our friends in Hancock County, probably closer to 3/4 of an inch of rain. So that gives you an idea of what's happening. Love to be able to see or hear if you have a rain gauge. Now, Gardner Fritz, my buddy and a premium member, says the rain is welcome, but its intensity is not. Unfortunately, Gardner notes, we don't get to pick and choose. Thanks for the updates, David. He is so right. We just don't. And I always like to remind people, as you can imagine, on occasion when you're in the weather industry, people like think that you're like a vending machine. They're like, I'd like to order good weather on Friday, bad weather on Monday. Yeah, I'm just the messenger. I have no control over that, but it's fun or maybe amusing to start, but after a while it gets kind of old. Like, I can't change that. It is what it is. And so we have this to work through at the timing of when it comes through. And again, I fully expect the weather this weekend, the rain will be periodic, not the whole time. It'll be occasional, not the whole time, but it will come in stages. And I know it's 5/26. My premium members have already had access to my 7-day forecast. So if you hang with me at the bottom of the hour when some of these warnings expire, I know Knox will go to 6, but a couple of these warnings will expire at 5. I will show you my latest 7-day forecast. There have been some minor changes, but boy, does it really change for the cooler side, less humid side next week. I mean, you're going to be like, man, this was worth it. Do you remember how lousy the weather was on Friday night? Yeah. Well, the payoff is that you're going to get some less humid days next week that might bring a smile to your face. Brian's on here. Brian, hello. He says, my dad, I will show you my latest 7-day forecast. I've been making minor changes. Boy, does it change. Judy says, started in Rutledge. Thank you for that update, Judy. And Kathy Moeller, one of my premium members, says, we sure need the rain in Del Rio. She says, I hope it happens today. Well, I hope so too. I hope it happens in the time frame that you would like it, because again, it may be feast or famine right now because we really don't have much to talk about at the moment. Like Gatlinburg's dry, everybody's dry over here. You got all this dry over here, but this was not the case a few minutes ago because we've already established when this came in. Let's go 3 hours. Do you realize how much has changed in 3 hours time? Because now it's 2:27, right? Let's take this telestration off. And we'll take the pencils off. This is what it looked like at 2:27. All right? But if I show you how this has progressed, watch how this all seemingly wanted to go up toward Kentucky, right? And then it started to show signs of getting stronger in Loudoun. Boom. Then we had the first one, second one, third one. Looked like the first warning was really the Claiborne, Hancock, Lee County, Virginia area. That was the first warning that appears on this screen. If I'm not, yep, there it is, and there. So it's a 1, 2, 3. Punch that's come in. So not everybody's in the crosshairs, but if it holds together, we did hit the high temperature I expected today. I expected 91 degrees. Guess what the high was? You guessed it. It was 91. Both Knoxville and Oak Ridge hit 91 today. So that means it's the 37th day of 90 or higher this calendar year. And tomorrow, I think we'll be number 38. I think we're going to make it to the low 90s again tomorrow because why? These storms aren't necessarily going to characterize the whole day. But when they're in town, they tend to disrupt. And if you're in downtown Knoxville under a severe thunderstorm warning till 6, I mean, you could just look at this picture and you can see this is moving maybe slower than you would hope, but it is moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So let's just do a little track. I think that would be apropos, maybe it would be appropriate. We'll just take this right in here. And if we move this out 25 miles per hour, it's going to be headed in the direction of Sevierville Pigeon Forge. Should be around Knob Creek at 5:35. should be around Seymour at 5:36, and if it's in Oak City, about 5:39. These are approximate times, but it looks like we've seen what just in the last few minutes. Is it a few minutes? Yep, maybe a couple minutes ago. Yeah, you see how the box changed. I'm toggling it back and forth. Hardin Valley was in. Hardin Valley is now out. Farragut was in. Farragut's now out. You see, who's doing that? Weather Service. That's who's doing it. They have seen where the red echoes are, right? The strong, intense storms in red have now moved to South Knoxville, northern Blount County. The worst of it's well north of Maryville, but it can make a drive from Maryville to, say, Hardin Valley, a little more challenging. Certainly Maryville to Knoxville, more challenging. But this is where we stand at the moment. It is now 5:30, and as I suspected, they have they've allowed it to expire. We had 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. The one that was in Hancock County, you're back to normal. Yes, it may still be raining, but not as intensely. Same situation in Loudoun. It's raining hard in Madisonville and just south of Loudoun, but it's not necessarily causing the same problems it did a few minutes ago. And this storm is headed towards, say, Bayview at 5:45, Fairfield at 5:47, and around Providence at 5:49. Rocky Branch, 5:52. This storm is estimated by Barron to be moving at 26 miles an hour now, with an 80% chance of hail, and the hail would be about the size, half of a George Washington quarter, more like penny size or nickel, if it's occurring at all. But that's where things are. If I jump back to the velocity, which we can easily do, take a look at this storm specifically, and we'll take this all off. We have the box pretty well established. Take that off and see if we can get some speeds in here. Yeah, it's 35 estimated. Again, this is not going to be precise, but it's going to give you some indication of where the velocity is at the moment, making it a little more challenging for drivers, no doubt. There's 37. So all this is coming in the last 15 minutes, right? You can see how those numbers do, they fluctuate, they vary, and you can see 15 minutes, in the last 15 minutes, we've seen winds now pick up in these areas in Blount County and in southern sections of Knox County. All right, so having said that, let me go back to the radar because I know we're getting closer to, he says, getting closer to the special hour. Oh, by the way, have we even looked at, we haven't looked at power outages. You don't think we'd get any of those, right? That wouldn't happen here. Got a lot of lightning, now numbering up to 1,952. That's a lot of lightning strikes, but it's all working its way from the Knox County area heading towards Sevierville. I do have opportunities to check out the power outages, and yeah, we have some in Knox County, wouldn't you know? How many do you think we got? Let's see, 3,500. If you said that or guessed that, then you would be correct. We have 3,500 without power here, 1,000 in what appears like around Roane County, 100 here, and up toward Hancock County, about 300. That's a lot for Hancock, because Hancock County is not the most populated county. So the 300 out there, and Barberville about 200, maybe up in Knox County, Kentucky, as far as the power outages. So if that helps you know that some of your neighbors have lost power, that means with trees down, you got to be extra careful if you're driving out and about. Just checking in with you. Want to say hi to any of your comments if you're on the call. Just checking in with you. Wanted to see if any new notes come in. I will do my best to give you a shout out. Kathy's on here. We've got other notes, but as far as the bigger picture, we'll go back to this. Turn this back on with the radar. And now that we've said goodbye to the last of the severe thunder warnings is Knox County, we're going to ride this out probably a couple more minutes. I'm kind of curious to know if any of the other storms here show signs of strengthening. The one like, let's go town to town, for example. We got the warning here for Blount County, Knox County, till 6. But as far as the downpours and Von Orr, beautiful Von Orr getting hammered right now along 411 and up toward Kincaid and Lakeside and McGee and Madisonville, probably getting infected pretty hard with the thunder and lightning at this time. It seems to break up a little bit right now around, say, Greenback. Greenback doesn't look as intense as some of those. Friendsville, we got Friendsville on the screen here. We got them over here. So Friendsville's here. Some of the heavier rains are in Big Springs, Benfield, and maybe over toward Old Glory and Alcoa. So that's one spot we'll watch. But the heaviest of rains right now, the biggest concern for severe weather is now approaching our friends in Seymour. So if you're in Seymour or Boyd's Creek, you might want to hunker down, get away from windows. If you were outside on the deck or the porch, might want to wait for this storm to pass, as it's now moving at 25 miles an hour to the east. Libby Ratledge says, thank you for the update. My pleasure. Just wanted to give you peace of mind that just because we got this now, it's not going to characterize the rest of the night. If this comes back at 1 o'clock in the morning, don't be surprised. But there's a lot of time between, say, 6 o'clock this evening to 1 o'clock. That's 6 hours, right? 7 hours, right? You're going to have more time tonight where you're tapping your toe. You're like, that weatherman said we get rain tonight. Yeah, we're going to have it. But when you look at the big picture, which we really haven't looked at here, let's see what else is upstream, right? We have a cold front that's going to help trigger new showers that maybe haven't even formed yet. That's my expectation. So if you look at the radar here, a lot of this, the real colors here refer to excessive heat warnings. They've really had the feels like temperature well above or north of 105, 110. Very hot in places like Shelby County in Tennessee around Memphis. So they've been dealing with the heat. Parts of West Tennessee also heat advisories, but we have not had that, thankfully. But you can clearly see this is just one impulse. Think of this as the first wave of the ocean coming in on the shore. And while some of you don't like the timing, it's like Gardner says, it happens. We get it when we get it. We'll have to deal with it. That's kind of the way it goes. Judy, sir, she says it's only drizzle, but drizzle only where she is in the Rutledge area, but it is moisture. Pete says wind and rain is picked up east of Maryville. I would imagine it would have. Let's zoom in. Here's Maryville. Not in the warned area, but certainly a heavy or strong storm. We could probably define this as we've got a severe storm in Knox County and also towards Seymour, but we have a strong severe storm, or strong storm rather, in Alcoa, Maryville, all connected to the same big green or red blob of radar reflectivity, but it's not as intense, it would appear, around Alcoa versus where it would be in Bayview or Seymour. But this is the storm. I think we've had a quick check on the towns. There we go. Yep, so some of the new towns that are moving, again, this is moving east, southeast at 29 miles an hour. It's about 14.7 miles wide. That's pretty specific. So about 15 miles wide, and it's got a cloud top of 38,000 feet. So it's a cloud that's nice and billowing, and it's showing signs of moving in the direction of Doyle Springs, 550, around Walden's Creek, 557. Heads up for you, as you've got a severe thunderstorm heading in your direction. And Henderson Springs, about 6 o'clock, but hopefully, well, at 6 o'clock this is expected to expire, but they could extend it, maybe move the yellow polygon southeastward. That's been known to happen before, so we'll keep an eye on that particular scenario. It could very well happen where this continues to grow over time. Hey, I did say at 5:30, about an hour, I would show you my 7-day, so let me get that on there, and I'll post it a little bit later after we're done with the live stream, but I just want to get us through, to get you home without wondering what's going on with the weather. But here's where I expect it to be. Are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. I have a drum roll, please. Looking ahead, here's your Captain Hack, Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. I have to morph some of these on here because I didn't have time to massage this thing. But there it is. I have 2 cool mornings, Monday night, Tuesday night. It's going to be super cool when you wake up Wednesday morning, because with dew points and temperatures dropping into the mid to upper 50s, you're going to say, this is delightful. This is what I think of when I think of autumn, and when it's this cool, I think it's time for football time in Tennessee. I'm thinking that's probably what some of you may think, but I did leave an 80% chance of rain for later tonight. Maybe it comes in at 1 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it comes in at 2. But there's more evidence that more of this rain, similar fashion, maybe not as intense, but a squall line all the same, comes in later tonight, early tomorrow morning. And then there'll be a break, and then it'll come back late afternoon, Saturday, and then a break, and then late Saturday night, Sunday morning. You see this picture. It's ebbs and flows. That's what I expect for your weekend. Significantly cooler next week, and you take away the humidity, 83 on Monday and Tuesday is going to feel like just fantastic. Granted, there are a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder on Monday, but I think Tuesday and Wednesday are the pick days of next week. I really hope that you'll get out and enjoy those days, because if you're cooped up in the office, maybe you can negotiate, say, hey, would you cover for me? Really like it if you could cover for me on this particular day. That'd be great. Oops, I keep missing my forecast. Let me go back to the radar. But that's where things are at the moment, and I expect it fully to come to pass, and we'll have some delightful days in the future. Let me check in. Oh, yes, wouldn't you know it? I take my eyes off the radar for a minute. Look what happens. They decided to put Gatlinburg in the crosshairs. Wait a minute. Didn't you just show me the future radar 2 hours going to Gatlinburg? I did. I did. So in some ways, I was even ahead of the curve. Because if you're in Gatlinburg and you were watching me 20 minutes ago, this is no surprise. This storm that's now leaving Knox County is headed to Gatlinburg. It seems to like the Smokies. Apparently, that's where it's headed anyway. And if you look over the last hour, this is what's transpired. We had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in Sneedville, Rogersville that expired. We had one around Loudon. It expired. And I fully suspect the one in Knox County will expire at 6 o'clock, maybe sooner, because it's now taking all the oxygen away, and now it's the Gatlinburg till 6:45. So just wanted to show you what we talked about a moment ago, which you have the same tool. It's not like I'm pulling out gadgets and gizmos that you don't have. If you have the free Captain Accurate weather app, as I've said before, it wouldn't take much for you to push the play button. I call it the happy cloud at the bottom of the app, because once you push it, it'll give you the past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Now there it is, right? So let's go ahead and watch this again, see how it plays out. It goes right toward Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Cosby. Yeah, it's kind of adjusted a bit. Even though Gatlinburg will be impacted, maybe some of that red, darker reds go from Sevierville to Cosby. So I'm thinking about you, Kathy Muller, if you're still listening in Del Rio. You might rejoice when some of this rain comes your way, but you might not be too thrilled or enamored with the rain, rather the wind. The wind might come into play as well. So keep in mind, we've seen some power outages, but as far as where this is likely to go, right now the expectation is to put it over here. So these are the areas that need to be mindful between now and 6:45. Less than an hour from now. Did I say 6:45? 7:45. So this will be, it is now 5:41, but it'll be heading in this spot in the next, we'll say, 60 to 120 minutes. That's basically where it's headed, and we want you to be prepared if you're in the path of this particular severe thunderstorm. All right, so there you have it, 5:42. We covered the 7-day. I want to check in with your comments. If you have any thoughts, Kelsey says the power is trying so hard to go out in Wildwood. Ooh, the power is trying so hard to go out. Well, keep in mind, it's going to get better. It's already improved in Farragut, Kelsey, which is not far from you. It seems like it's improved in Lenore City, and hopefully it will improve in Wildwood. Renee Stone says, woke me up, constant lightning, thunder, hard rain. I'm not sure where you are, but I would imagine you're somewhere where it's red. Steve Stone says lots of wind and rain here in Rockford. So, yeah, we've got quite a few interesting weather reports here that have come in based on where these storms are. We've got the heavier rains around Von Orr, around Howard and Riverside, Union Grove. Greenback, it's gotten more intense for you. Downtown Maryville, it's kind of like it's moving right through town. Let's see, let's do 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes would be. Look how it's kind of split, maybe a little bit. Maybe it went through. It went right through Maryville. Maybe the worst of it just 10 minutes ago. But it is moving now in the direction of Bestview and 6 Mile and toward Blockhouse and Law Chapel. So those are the spots that need to be concerned for maybe some downpours. The new warning here covers basically what we're seeing here, right? This is all moving. Let me give you the latest update, because the Weather Service is very specific in their wording. The one that includes Gatlinburg, the one that includes Blount County, runs till 6:45. They believe this severe thunderstorm was about 7 miles west of Pigeon Forge. 7 miles west? Oh boy, it'd really be helpful if I had a measurement tool. Wait a minute, I do have a measurement tool. What is 7 miles west of Pigeon Forge? Let's see, there's 7. Oh, there it is, right? Right there she is. 7 miles. Where is that? That's 7 miles from Pigeon Forge. It's just south of DuPont. And it happens to correspond with the brightest purple reflectivity, which might in fact cover some hail if we were to take another look at that hail possibility. Yeah, there's a little bit. It's maybe slower to catch up. but that's where the severe thunderstorm is believed to be. It's about 7 miles west of Pigeon Forge, and it's moving southeast at 40 now. So it's picked up some speed, which may be good. Quicker it gets in, the quicker it gets out. Have less time to drop all that rain. But let's just do a track. I think that might be of help to all of us watching who's in the path of this storm. There she goes, moving to the southeast. There's southeast at 40 miles an hour. It's got to go all the way off the screen here. That's okay. I have one more spot to go. There it is. Yeah, it's going definitely into North Carolina. Goes past Clingman's Dome if it were to stay on this path. But these are the towns that might be impacted next. That would be Wares Valley right now. It would be Henderson Springs right now. But headed towards Starkeytown and Pigeon Forge at 548, 550 respectively. Ober-Gatlinburg, 551. So if you need some time, you got a few extra minutes. You got 6 minutes before it hits the wonderful ski resort of Ober-Gatlinburg. Should be around Mount Zion at 552. And Dollywood, Dollywood's probably a little sensitive to heavy rain from days past, but 553 is when it should be on the doorstep of Dollywood and Splash Country. And who knows, this may make its own splash, I'm suspecting, once it comes into town. They're suspecting a 60-mile-an-hour gust, nickel-size hail possibility. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. And, of course, when trees are involved, yes, it can, in fact, take out power. So those are the problems that are still ahead of us if you're in the path of this storm. It's the only, essentially, it's one storm that's overlaid with multiple polygons, but it's one big storm that's moving southeast at 40 miles an hour. You also have on the app Storm Tracks, which is cool. It's like the equivalent of what I've done over here. Let me see if I can do one over here. Yep. Nope, it didn't want it to give me one. Sometimes when I get those little vectors, those little arrows, oops, got a new one down here, but that's outside of our viewing area. That's down toward Cleveland and well southwest of Etowah. Etowah has some rain moving through south of Athens, but it's not the severe storm that runs here till 6:45. So we've got a new one from Charleston to Cleveland. If you have family down there, they will want to watch that storm with a little more close eye on that for sure. But downpours probably improving a lot better now in Alcoa. It still may be dry in Louisville, but you had some rain earlier, and I mentioned it was storming in places like Farragut, Hardin Valley, but that's improved as well. So really it's not as bad in the city of Knoxville. Still some heavy rain maybe toward Riverdale and Kimberlin Heights. That might be where the worst of the storms are. And south of Boyd's Creek now. So really we can include Seymour, 441, DuPont, and Walden's Creek, all inside that warned area, as well as now Doyle Springs, because you've been included into the new box here. This would also include Wallen. Wallen is under the severe thunderstorm warning, and this all runs until 6:45. I'm probably going to go here for just a few more minutes, but hopefully everybody is aware of what's at stake here. Again, we're going to wait for this to pass, then we're going to get some extended dry time for this evening, but don't be surprised if something curious forms overnight. And I'm thinking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe after that, and you wake up and you go, man, I didn't see that coming. But if you're listening to me, maybe you have and now know it is coming. Let's take a look at the current outages. Power outage. Yes, you knew there'd be more. Oh my. Based on my legend, and you can see that at the top there, the green area is representative of about 5,000 power outages. So that's no fun. Nobody likes to lose their electricity. And if it goes out, the first question you have is, when's it going to come back on, right? It's just one of the 8,500. Holy mackerel. That's a lot of people. It was 3,500 when it now added 5,000 extra people since we last checked. About 1,000 in around maybe Harriman, parts of Roane County, about 100 here. Now we've added Granger County, 100. Hancock County has gone up, was 300. Now it's 700. That's a lot. Hancock County. Lee County, about 500. Over toward Bell County, Kentucky, 100. Maybe Harlan. No, Harlan's not covered there. But you could see areas in southeast Kentucky, about 100 or 200. But yeah, it seems like Knoxville's getting the worst of the power outages. Not what you want to hear on a Friday when you want to just enjoy the weekend. It's just one of the things that we have to work through, and we'll get through it. We're a tough, hardy bunch in East Tennessee. We've been through worse, but that's what we have to work with at the moment. So that's where the storms are. A lot of lightning, maybe overkill here, 2,000 lightning strikes. Come back over to the home view. Appears to be some flooding, aerial flood advisories for Bell County. That runs till 7:15 tonight. But with about 11 minutes left on this warning in the Knox County area, it will linger to about 6:45 for the Gatlinburg area. Like I said, timing is it's moving in pretty fast. If it's moving now at 40 miles an hour, before it was running at 20, 30, the speeds of these storms are running at 20 miles an hour, then 30, now it's 40. Yeah, it's going to get into the Gatlinburg area and exit Gatlinburg probably a lot sooner than 6:45. It's just my thought. I think by the time we hit 6:45, it's going to probably be in North Carolina, just the way it's going at this stage. If you've got a comment, love to say hi to you. Judy Kerr says, be safe. Make sure you have your phones charged so if the power goes out, you can still follow it. Absolutely, because there's still another opportunity for that to happen tonight. We still have the same risk for isolated severe storms on Saturday. And you're like, oh man, yeah, Saturday night as well. So all of these events, when it rains, it can pour. And where it pours, it can also create some winds. Now, thankfully, it's not expected to be tornadic. We've seen those strong winds come into play here in the last few minutes. But most of that, again, is not going to be, don't expect any twisters from this situation. This is more of a nuisance situation where you get power outages and then you have to kind of adapt in that type of environment. There's 36. What we got? 23. Yeah, I don't see too many. Well, there's some 39. So there's some strong winds, I'm sure, in here, but we're just not going to be able to see everything everywhere. So just mindful that the severe thunderstorm warning, the language is that the winds could reach up to 60, and at this stage it would appear that they are probably just under that at this moment. But don't know for sure, as again, they have maybe more intel. I do know they have more intel at their disposal with the Weather Service. So there's where things are at the moment. Let me go back to the radar picture at 5:51. James Harrington says he's scared something out of me. Probably was maybe too dumb for me to leave my vehicle. I don't know if you ran outside. Hopefully you get inside. He's saying get inside. Yeah, these storms mean business. And now you see a lot more color here. You notice the purple. Let's go back to my pencil. We'll use the Tennessee orange right in here. This has grown in the last few minutes. So it's getting stronger as it's hitting what? This is a good teachable moment, right? You might be wondering, why is that happening? Because in many cases, right, what happens is if you ever hit a speed bump, your car goes up and then it comes back down. Well, what do you have with the Smokies, right? When you're talking about rising motion, rising air, it's going to be ramping up, and sometimes these things get a little more intense. So that's why I think you're seeing this little purple area just south of Pigeon Forge, and that's approaching the Gatlinburg area around maybe not far from Little Cove at this hour. But this is a severe thunderstorm warning that runs until 6:45. So I want everybody to take that seriously. If you're in the path, we've heard James say, get inside. He put that in all caps. So I appreciate James's candor, and hopefully people will take the advice from those who might be in the elements right now, because he's certainly saying, let's see, he was in West Knox County. Does he say that? Yep. He said constant lightning. He says it hit West Knoxville. Please get inside. So yeah, once these things come in, they can make a bit of a ruckus. And I'm kind of curious to know if some of you have had a similar experience. Thank you for all the notes that have come in. Let's see here. We've got Ruthie's on here. She was noting that she said it was raining and thundering in Hancock County. Yeah, we covered that. Very much appreciate that. And then old Libby said, thank you for the updates. Very thankful for her and all of the support that you all provide each and every day. Severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. It is now 5:53. It would appear that the one that's in Knox County will be expiring on schedule, on time, because now it's left the city, right? There's Knoxville. And they have adjusted the box a little bit, so we're seeing some improvement in that category as well. So that's the way things stand. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to talk more about the weather, as always, on the normal times, but it being a Friday evening, I want you to enjoy your family some of the time now that it's improved. And if you have lost your power, give it time, because I know they work hard. all of the crews that get up into those utility poles to get power back on. They work very hard day or night. So we appreciate them very much. We'll see you here next time. Take care.